On day 1, she tripped, missed, and got laughed out of the range. She stayed late, alone, practiced in silence, and when challenge day came, she walked out with her eyes covered and didn't miss a single shot. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If this story intrigues you, subscribe for more untold tales of those who serve in ways we never see. The morning air at Fort Benning's marksmanship training facility carried the sharp scent of gunpowder and machine oil that had permeated the outdoor firing ranges for decades, creating an atmospheric backdrop where elite soldiers and competitive shooters tested their skills against precision targets that demanded absolute accuracy and unwavering concentration under conditions designed to simulate combat stress and operational pressure. At 0600 hours, the range was populated by experienced marksmen and tactical specialists whose reputations had been built through years of competition and military service that required exceptional shooting skills and mental discipline that separated professional warriors from recreational shooters who lacked the psychological preparation necessary for high-stakes marksmanship under combat conditions. Private Elena Martinez stepped onto the firing line with obvious nervousness that characterized new recruits whose civilian backgrounds had provided minimal exposure to military weapons training and marksmanship principles that required systematic development of skills that could not be acquired through casual practice or basic instruction. Her standard-issue M4 carbine felt unfamiliar and awkward in her hands, the weapon's weight and balance creating immediate challenges for someone whose previous experience with firearms had been limited to basic safety courses that emphasized caution rather than the aggressive confidence and tactical proficiency that characterized military marksmanship training designed to create combat-effective soldiers. To most of the personnel assembled for advanced marksmanship qualification, Private Martinez represented typical new recruit challenges: uncertain handling of military weapons, obvious discomfort with range procedures, and general inexperience that suggested she would require extensive additional training before achieving minimal competency standards that qualified soldiers for deployment to operational environments where marksmanship skills could determine survival outcomes during direct combat. Engagement with enemy forces. Sergeant First Class David Thompson supervised range operations with the systematic efficiency that characterized experienced military instructors whose responsibility involved transforming civilian recruits into combat-effective soldiers through intensive training programs that tested both technical skills and psychological resilience under conditions that simulated operational stress and demanded immediate adaptation to military standards and procedures. All right, people. Today's qualification requires hitting 40 out of 40 targets at ranges from 50 to 300 meters, Thompson announced to assembled personnel whose marksmanship skills varied significantly, but whose collective experience suggested that most would achieve passing scores without extraordinary difficulty or additional instruction beyond standard range procedures and basic tactical principles. Private Martinez assumed the prone firing position with obvious uncertainty, her body positioning and weapon handling reflecting inexperience that immediately distinguished her from veteran soldiers whose muscle memory and tactical training allowed them to achieve proper shooting stance and sight alignment without conscious effort or detailed instruction from range personnel. The first shots fired by Martinez went wide of target completely, her rounds impacting the earthen backstop behind the target frames with scattered placement that indicated fundamental problems with sight alignment, breathing control, and trigger discipline that required systematic correction through individual instruction and extensive practice under controlled conditions. Staff Sergeant Michael Rodriguez, observing Martinez's performance from the range tower, made commentary that reflected the casual attitude toward new recruit challenges that characterized experienced military personnel who had witnessed countless soldiers struggle with basic marksmanship before eventually achieving competency through persistence and proper instruction. Looks like we've got another one who's never held a rifle before, Rodriguez commented to his fellow instructors, his observation reflecting statistical reality that many new recruits required significant additional training before achieving basic marksmanship standards that qualified them for advanced military occupational specialties requiring tactical proficiency. Corporal Jennifer Walsh, stationed at the target line to assess shot placement and provide feedback to shooters, observed Martinez's continued difficulties with sight alignment and trigger control that resulted in missed targets and scattered shot groups that indicated fundamental deficiencies in basic marksmanship principles requiring immediate attention and remedial instruction. Martinez, you're pulling shots to the right because you're jerking the trigger instead of applying steady rearward pressure, Walsh instructed while providing technical guidance that addressed specific mechanical problems affecting shooting accuracy and consistency during range qualification exercises. Martinez's attempts to implement Walsh's coaching resulted in marginal improvement, but her overall performance continued to reflect inexperience and nervousness that prevented her from achieving the focused concentration and technical precision required for military marksmanship standards that demanded consistent accuracy under time constraints and environmental stressors. Private James Harrison, positioned at the adjacent firing point, achieved perfect scores on his qualification attempts while observing Martinez's struggles with basic weapon handling and marksmanship fundamentals that seemed to confirm initial assessments about her suitability for military training that required technical proficiency and psychological resilience. Some people just aren't cut out for this, Harrison commented quietly to fellow soldiers who were completing their qualification requirements with minimal difficulty, his observation reflecting common assumptions about natural talent and aptitude that supposedly determine success in military training programs requiring specialized skills and capabilities. The range qualification session concluded with Martinez achieving a failing score that required her to repeat the entire course before being eligible for advancement to additional military training phases that demanded demonstrated competency in basic soldier skills, including marksmanship, tactical movement, and equipment maintenance under field conditions. Sergeant Thompson approached Martinez after other personnel had departed the range, his expression reflecting professional concern about training challenges that might require additional instruction or alternative approaches to help struggling soldiers achieve minimum competency standards necessary for continued military service and operational deployment. Martinez, marksmanship is a fundamental soldier skill that requires systematic development through practice and proper instruction. Thompson explained while reviewing her target assessment sheets that documented shot placement and scoring that fell significantly below passing requirements for military qualification standards. Martinez's response reflected determination and commitment that characterized soldiers whose initial performance difficulties did not indicate lack of motivation or unwillingness to invest additional effort in achieving military standards through remedial training and individual practice sessions designed to address specific deficiencies. Sergeant, I understand that my performance today was inadequate, but I'm willing to put in whatever additional training time is necessary to achieve qualification standards. Martinez replied with quiet resolve that suggested her initial difficulties might be overcome through dedicated practice and proper technical instruction. Thompson acknowledged Martinez's commitment while explaining range procedures and practice opportunities that were available for personnel requiring additional marksmanship training beyond standard qualification sessions that assumed basic familiarity with firearms and shooting principles that many civilian recruits lacked upon entry into military service. The range is available for individual practice from 1,800 to 2,200 hours daily, with ammunition and targets provided for personnel working on qualification requirements. Thompson explained while providing information about training resources that could help Martinez develop marksmanship skills through individual practice sessions and self-directed improvement efforts. Martinez began her individual practice routine that evening, arriving at the range after normal training hours when the facility was nearly empty except for range safety personnel and occasional soldiers working on specialized training requirements that demanded additional practice beyond standard military instruction programs and qualification sessions. Her initial practice sessions revealed the same fundamental problems with weapon handling and marksmanship basics that had characterized her qualification attempt, but the absence of time pressure and peer observation allowed her to focus entirely on technical development without the psychological stress that often interfered with learning during formal instruction periods. Range Safety Officer Lieutenant Patricia Chun observed Martinez's practice sessions with professional interest, noting her dedication to improvement and systematic approach to addressing marksmanship deficiencies through repetitive practice and careful attention to instruction that had been provided during formal training sessions. Martinez, you're showing improvement in sight alignment, but you need to work on breathing control and follow through to achieve consistent shot placement, Shin advised while providing individual coaching that addressed specific technical problems affecting shooting accuracy and precision during practice exercises. Martinez implemented Chin's suggestions with methodical precision, practicing breathing techniques and trigger control exercises that gradually improved her shooting consistency and accuracy through systematic skill development that required patience and persistent effort rather than natural talent or previous experience with firearms. Week after week, Martinez continued her evening practice sessions, gradually developing muscle memory and technical proficiency that transformed her from struggling recruit to competent marksman through dedicated effort and systematic improvement that demonstrated the effectiveness of proper instruction combined with individual commitment to excellence. Lieutenant Chun documented Martinez's progress through training records that tracked improvement in shooting accuracy, consistency, and technical proficiency during practice sessions that revealed her transformation from inexperienced recruit to developing marksman whose skills were approaching military qualification standards through persistent effort and proper instruction. Martinez has shown remarkable improvement through individual practice and dedication to skill development. Shin reported to Sergeant Thompson during weekly training assessments that evaluated recruit progress and identified personnel requiring additional instruction or alternative training approaches to achieve military standards. Martinez's practice routine expanded beyond basic marksmanship to include advanced techniques that challenged her developing skills and prepared her for qualification requirements that demanded consistent accuracy under time constraints and environmental conditions that simulated operational stress and tactical situations requiring immediate precision shooting. The transformation in Martinez's shooting ability became apparent during her second qualification attempt, when she achieved passing scores that reflected significant improvement in technical proficiency and psychological preparation that had been developed through weeks of dedicated practice and systematic skill development under individual instruction. Sergeant Thompson observed Martinez's qualification performance with obvious satisfaction, understanding that her improvement demonstrated the effectiveness of persistent training and individual commitment to excellence that could overcome initial difficulties and achieve military standards through proper instruction and dedicated practice. Outstanding improvement, Martinez. Your dedication to practice and skill development has paid off with qualification scores that meet military standards, Thompson acknowledged while reviewing target assessments that documented her achievement of marksmanship competency through systematic training and individual effort. But Martinez's ambitions extended beyond basic qualification requirements to advanced marksmanship techniques that challenged the most experienced shooters and required exceptional skill. Development that pushed the boundaries of human capability and technical precision under extremely demanding conditions. Her evening practice sessions began incorporating advanced exercises that included shooting at extended ranges, engaging multiple targets under time constraints, and developing situational awareness skills that prepared her for tactical marksmanship scenarios requiring immediate target acquisition and precision engagement under combat stress. Lieutenant Chun provided advanced instruction that introduced Martinez to competitive shooting techniques and precision marksmanship principles that exceeded basic military requirements and challenged her developing skills through exercises that demanded exceptional accuracy and consistency under increasingly difficult conditions. Martinez, you've developed solid fundamentals that provide the foundation for advanced marksmanship training. Shin explained while introducing shooting techniques that required exceptional skill and mental discipline that separated expert marksmen from soldiers who achieved basic competency through standard military training programs. Martinez's practice routine evolved to include specialized exercises that developed her ability to engage targets without relying entirely on visual confirmation, using auditory cues and spatial awareness techniques that enhanced her shooting capability under conditions where traditional sight picture might be compromised by environmental factors or tactical situations. The advanced training included exercises where Martinez practiced shooting with various visual impediments that forced her to rely on weapon feel, muscle memory, and auditory feedback to achieve target engagement, without complete visual information that characterized most marksmanship training and qualification requirements. 3 months after her initial qualification failure, Martinez had developed into one of the most skilled marksmen in her training unit. Her systematic approach to skill development and dedicated practice having transformed her from struggling recruit to expert shooter whose capabilities exceeded those of soldiers with years of military experience and previous firearms training. The annual marksmanship competition at Fort Benning provided an opportunity for Martinez to demonstrate the advanced skills she had developed through months of individual practice and specialized training that had pushed her capabilities far beyond basic military qualification requirements and into the realm of expert marksmanship. Sergeant Thompson announced the competition format that included various shooting challenges designed to test different aspects of marksmanship skill, including precision shooting at extended ranges, rapid target engagement, and advanced techniques that required exceptional accuracy and mental discipline under competitive pressure. This year's competition includes a special challenge that has never been successfully completed by any competitor. Thompson explained to assembled personnel whose marksmanship skills represented the highest levels of military shooting proficiency and competitive experience available within the training command. The special challenge involved engaging a series of targets while wearing a blindfold that eliminated visual confirmation and required shooters to rely entirely on muscle memory, weapon feel, and spatial awareness techniques that exceeded conventional marksmanship training and pushed the boundaries of human shooting capability. Martinez volunteered for the blindfold challenge without hesitation, her months of specialized practice and advanced training having prepared her for exactly this type of demanding test that required exceptional skill development and mental discipline that most shooters never attempted to develop through conventional training methods. The reaction from assembled personnel was immediate skepticism, based on memories of Martinez's initial performance difficulties and assumptions about the impossibility of achieving precision shooting without visual confirmation that characterized all conventional marksmanship training and competitive shooting standards. Private Harrison, who had observed Martinez's early struggles, expressed doubt about her ability to succeed in a challenge that had never been completed by experienced marksmen whose skills far exceeded basic military qualification requirements and represented years of competitive shooting and advanced training. There's no way Martinez can hit targets blindfolded when she could barely qualify 6 months ago, Harrison commented to fellow soldiers who shared his skepticism about the possibility of achieving precision shooting without visual sight picture that formed the foundation of all marksmanship training and tactical shooting instruction. Lieutenant Chun assisted Martinez with the blindfold application that eliminated all visual input and required her to rely entirely on skills she had developed through months of specialized practice that had prepared her for exactly this type of challenging test of advanced marksmanship capability and mental discipline. Martinez assumed her shooting position with calm confidence that reflected the systematic skill development and mental preparation she had achieved through dedicated practice and specialized training that had transformed her approach to marksmanship from desperate struggle to expert proficiency and technical mastery. The first shot fired by Martinez struck the center of the target with precision that immediately silenced skeptical commentary from assembled personnel who had expected failure based on their memories of her initial performance difficulties and assumptions about the impossibility of blindfolded shooting. Subsequent shots continued to achieve center target hits with consistency that demonstrated the exceptional skill development and advanced technique that Martinez had acquired through months of specialized practice and training that exceeded conventional marksmanship instruction and pushed the boundaries of human shooting capability. Target after target fell to Martinez's blindfolded shooting, her performance demonstrating mastery of advanced marksmanship techniques that relied on muscle memory, weapon feel, and spatial awareness rather than visual confirmation that characterized conventional shooting instruction and competitive marksmanship standards. The final target engagement completed Martinez's perfect score in the blindfolded challenge, her achievement representing the first successful completion of a test that had been considered impossible by experienced marksmen whose conventional training had not prepared them for shooting without visual confirmation. Sergeant Thompson announced Martinez's unprecedented achievement to assembled personnel whose expressions reflected amazement and respect for skill development that had transformed struggling recruit into expert marksmen whose capabilities exceeded those of soldiers with years of military experience and advanced training. Private Martinez has achieved perfect scores in the Blindfolded Marksmanship Challenge, becoming the first soldier to successfully complete this test through exceptional skill development and dedicated training that demonstrates the highest levels of military marksmanship proficiency, Thompson announced with obvious pride and recognition. Private Harrison approached Martinez with genuine respect and acknowledgement that her achievement had demonstrated the effectiveness of dedicated practice and systematic skill development that could overcome initial difficulties and achieve extraordinary levels of proficiency through persistent effort and proper instruction. Martinez, I owe you an apology for doubting your capabilities. Your achievement today demonstrates exceptional skill and dedication that I didn't recognize during your initial training difficulties. Harrison acknowledged with respect that reflected his understanding of the extraordinary effort required to achieve such advanced marksmanship proficiency. Lieutenant Chun expressed pride in Martinez's achievement, understanding that her success validated advanced training techniques and specialized instruction that pushed marksmanship development beyond conventional military standards and into the realm of expert proficiency that few soldiers ever achieved through standard training programs. 6 months later, Martinez was selected for the Army Marksmanship Unit, where her exceptional shooting skills and innovative training techniques contributed to advanced marksmanship instruction and competitive shooting programs that enhanced military marksmanship capability and developed new training methods for achieving expert proficiency. Her story became part of Fort Benning training folklore, demonstrating that initial performance difficulties did not indicate limitations, but rather represented starting points for development that could achieve extraordinary levels of proficiency through dedicated effort, proper instruction, and systematic skill development that pushed the boundaries of human capability. Elena Martinez had proven that marksmanship excellence could be achieved through persistent effort and systematic training, demonstrating that initial struggles often preceded the most remarkable achievements when supported by dedication, proper instruction, and unwavering commitment to continuous improvement and skill development that exceeded conventional expectations and training standards.